in America. I thought all this was supposed to be well, I thought we were supposed to be living in a Disney movie where all the animals were talking to each other now. In the words of Reverend Wright, to the actions of yesterday's Holocaust Museum gunman, things are starting to bubble. It's happening more and more. Psychiatrist, Fox News contributor, Dr. Keith Albrow is here with us now. Keith, I want to show you two sets of words here. First, this is the gunman yesterday, the Holocaust. This is one thing he said at the Holocaust Museum. He said, the Holocaust is a lie. Obama was created by the Jews. Obama does what his Jew owners tell him to do. Jews captured America's money. Jews control the mass media. Okay, that's the killer yesterday. Here's what Jeremiah Wright said this weekend. This is the pastor of, or former pastor of Barack Obama. Them Jews ain't gonna let him talk to me. I told my baby daughter he'll talk to me in 5 years when he's a lame duck, or in 8 years when he's out of office. What I know one killed and the other didn't, but what is the difference here? How do we know who's a danger and who's not?
Well, I was just going there, Glenn. You usually lead me where I need to go. And the more dangerous person is the Reverend. Because the shooter, after all, ends up being taken down by police. He's been arrested once before. He's not the brightest guy in the world. He tried to enter and take people captive at the Federal Reserve years ago and got arrested before he could do that. But he's obvious. He's out to shoot somebody. That's a terrible thing, by the way. It's awful. Think of the victims and their families. But when you deal with the Reverend Wright, you're dealing with somebody who has just as much violence in his heart, but is cagier, right? He's just as impaired and paranoid.
Hang on just a second.
But he's cagier.
Keith, I don't think he's more dangerous. I think the only thing that's changed here is we paid attention to one of these guys and we dismissed the other. See, for instance, when nobody dismissed, if somebody says, you know, the Holocaust is a lie, Obama was created by the Jews, nobody listens to that person and takes them nobody listens to that. Only crazy people listen to that. But Obama...
That's the problem.
Reverend Wright, everybody, nobody's like, no, no big deal.
You know, and I think that's the problem. Nobody listens except those people who have the desire to project their hatred, who have experiences in life that perhaps have broken them. They don't want to deal with those experiences. They'd rather hate a whole group of people. And you can fill a congregation with those people. You can fill a church. Unfortunately, you can. It's just the nature of that congregation or church. Reverend Wright ought to be called what he is, right? I recognize as a psychiatrist. He has fixed and false beliefs. We call those delusions. He's paranoid, and people are following him. Now, that's a pretty dangerous situation as I see it.
Now, Keith, here's the thing, because I think we are like, we're zombies. I don't know what it is about us right now as a nation. I think it's that, you know, you don't want to believe the worst. You know, you just don't want to believe it. But let me take you here. Nobody wanted to believe that the people who are avowed Marxists in Obama's life could influence him in any way. That, I mean, he's not a Marxist. Look where we're headed. We are headed toward, we've got czars coming out the nose, we've got companies being controlled, we've got pay czars coming, we've got socialized healthcare. We're lucky to get out of this as France. Nobody wanted to admit that. Now, we've got hatred, just vile, vile anti-Semitic hatred happening all over the world. And a president who is, you're not really sure where he is on the whole Israel thing, and a guy who married him, baptized his children, they hung out together saying these things. What conclusion should we draw?
The conclusion we should draw is that we need a real reality check. We need a 9/12 mentality, Dr. Beck, that would encourage us to look to our own intuition and to what we know and to the facts and take the conclusions as they come. So how does someone look? He's the President of the United States, but how does someone stay in a congregation run by a madman for years and then be president? I don't know.
I'm with you on this. Don't get me wrong. Can we have another minute, or can we have him back tomorrow? We can have another minute. Let me ask you this, Keith. It's really not about the president anymore. It's about us. How do we wake people up? How do we get people out of their coma and say, what are you doing? Stop, just please look at common sense facts here.
You look, I think it's a global thing. We have to encourage one individual at a time. to say go to the facts and don't be afraid. Don't be afraid of the pain that might be involved in taking the country back to where it needs to be, and don't be lulled into a false sense of security. It's the same thing I'd tell somebody who's in a family in which they are being abused and told that they're loved. Don't believe it. It doesn't feel like love, does it? Believe your intuitions. Take your own counsel, and now you have to separate yourself from the mothership and look at it askance.
Thank you very much, Keith. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Glenn.
You know, America, we have to stop being afraid. I don't care. I don't care what they call me. You don't care what they call you either. You know the truth. You know the truth. Just stand up for what you believe. And you know what? The truth shall set you free. If you're invested in somebody or something and you were wrong, admit it. I was wrong about George W. Bush for years. I was wrong about that guy. I'm fine. It's okay. Blame me for it. I voted for him 2 times. Just admit it. Now, yesterday I told you how prisoners in San Quentin were basically in summer camp. Well, it's not just California. Jail just isn't what it used to be. Common sense, next.